Hello, everyone. Jackie Edwards here. Lovely to see you all again. I'm feeling like royalty today. I was a bit chilly, so I've got my white fluffy blankie wrapped around me, and it just makes me look like I've got a beautiful cape on. So anyways, hello. Today I want to talk a little bit of politics, and I know this can be quite well, honestly, it's a divisive topic. We're all taught we shouldn't talk about politics. It's not polite. It's not something we should do in company, but it's everywhere right now. And it's such a heated and divisive topic. And I see people arguing about it and like being really forceful about their opinions and being really mean, frankly. And now I have very strong opinions. And I've been really struggling to kind of reconcile everything. Like, how do I uphold my values and my opinions on what I think is the right thing versus how do I kind of uphold my belief that, people can make their own decisions and that like inside we're all kind of truly fabulous. And it was amazing because I've had a really great talk with a couple of my friends this morning. Shout out to Nikki and Heather. It was a lovely kind of messenger conversation, kind of around all of these topics and like, how do we, reconcile when so many people around us have different beliefs? And it kind of hit home because recently I was back, in my hometown in the US visiting family, and not everybody, but just coming here, I can feel like I can look around and know that almost everybody here has different beliefs than me on, especially like the Roe versus Wade. So most people here in my area are very anti-abortion, so very pro-life. They're very conservative, right-wing, pro-Trump type of people, which is very, very different to how I feel about everything. I am very pro-choice. I believe Trump is a crazy lunatic, and I am very much leaning towards the left politically. And I believe that we all have the right to our own opinions, but once, your opinions start impacting my body and my rights as a person, then I start to struggle and think, well, how is this okay? Like, how can I live in this world and be in this place without wanting to fight against it, without wanting to be aggressive in the same way that I see the others being so aggressive, and in the same way that we're almost taught to be aggressive by all the media and all of everything around us is basically telling us you're either A or B, you're either on the right or you're on the left. And you can't, there's no gray area. You can't be both. You can't have ideas for both. You can't like people on the other side. You have to either be on the right or on the left. And you can't be together. And you should hate the person on the other side because they think differently than you and they feel differently from you. And for such a long time, and I still struggle with this, but where I'm at today is I don't think that works. Like, me hating somebody for not having the same beliefs as me doesn't make them change their beliefs. Me fighting with somebody because they have different beliefs than me doesn't make them change their beliefs. I could spout facts at them. I could spout my beliefs at them all day long, and it doesn't make them change. The same way, they spout their beliefs, they argue with me, it doesn't make me change. So it just fosters more division, more differences, more you versus them mentality. And that isn't what heals the world. That isn't what brings us closer together to coming up with an actual solution for anything. So I was like, should I just block everybody and not talk to anybody that doesn't have the same beliefs as me, or I have to argue with them? And I'm like, well, what if there was more than that? What if there was more than just blocking everybody? Because then they don't get the benefit of like my energy, my thoughts, my beliefs at all. They don't get to see that someone can think differently than them and still be a good person if I block them and cut them completely out of everything. But if I'm there arguing with them and pushing my ideas and pushing my beliefs, that's just going to make them hold harder to theirs and not change anything either. So both of those are a lose-lose situation. And I see that everywhere, that we feel like that's our only choices. I either block the people that don't think like me, or I fight with them. And what if there was a different way? and one that kind of brings us closer together. And for me, it's been being able to, it comes back to me really learning to love myself first. And when I realize that, yes, even though I make mistakes, even though I'm fat, even though like I don't know everything, even though all these things I do wrong, I am still inherently lovable. I'm still fucking fabulous. And when I can truly deeply feel that and realize that even though like I've got all these cultural ingrained programs in my head, all of these like all these beliefs that like have been just wired into my brain that I need to learn and overcome. And there's going to be things in there that are wrong that I think are right, but I don't even know they're wrong yet, because we're always learning and growing. And if I can realize that about myself and I can still love myself for that, then maybe I can realize, well, that's exactly what everybody else is going through. So all of the, cultural programming and the social programming, everybody has that. So I can totally see that. Yes, I can understand why people believe what they believe, because that's what they've been taught to believe. Like they have been culturally programmed to believe those things that they believe, and they think that they're right because that's what they've been taught. So they don't know any better. So then does it come down to our education system? And if our education system was different, what if we focused, instead of just focusing on like math and science to make everything look right and smart, what if we focused on, I don't remember actually learning anything about government when I was going to school. I think I might have had one semester of it in high school. And maybe I learned a little bit a couple times in elementary school. All of our history is completely whitewashed and made up from the kind of old white dude perspective. And that's all we ever learned. And again, I barely had any history classes growing up. We're not taught any kind of financial education. The sexual health education is dire. Like, we're not taught anything about how our bodies actually work, what's actually happening. What if those things changed and we actually had a deeper understanding of how our government works, how money works, how our bodies work? We could be all having different conversations today. Because just speaking with somebody in my hometown while I was there, they were telling me like their friends didn't even realize what some of the issues were about. Like, they didn't even realize what Roe versus Wade was. They thought it was about birth control, when really it's about abortion control and controlling women's bodies. But she had no idea what it was about. Oh, there's my dad. I'm just going to pause that here right now. I'll just let him do his thing. But a lot of it is about kind of coming together with love and sharing our ideas and realizing that we've all learned different things in different places. I'm recording a video. Oh, the good timing of it all. So instead of just being like, they're different, they're wrong, if we understand why they're thinking the way they did, it's because they were brought up to think that way. They were culturally programmed to think that way. The education system is what failed them. And of course, the government doesn't want to change the education system, because that's what keeps people in power, is if the people are uneducated, if we don't know how the government works, if we don't know how our bodies work, if we don't really understand history, then we can't make those choices. Then we always trust that somebody else knows more than us, and they're the ones that should make these decisions, because we don't know any better. We don't know anything, and we've purposely been kept uneducated. And this is especially true in like more of the rural communities. It's like things take longer to get out there. Change takes longer to happen. Like, I'm lucky I was able to move to London at a young age. Otherwise, maybe my thoughts would be completely different had I not seen more of the world, been more exposed to diverse cultures, diverse thoughts, different ways of thinking. What if I would have, my other thought, 20 years ago was I wanted to move to Texas. What if I was living in Texas right now versus living just outside of London? Like, would I be thinking like the common thoughts in Texas are? Or would I have been able to grow and evolve? But we are kind of the products of what's around us, what our society and what our culture are telling us. Even if we don't think we are, all of those thoughts, all of that program is, our brain is soaking it all up. And that's what's clouding what we think. So when we realize that I love myself, even though I make all these mistakes, then maybe other people are the same. And maybe I can love them even though they make mistakes and even though they're on their journey to growth. And if I can love them instead of hating them, maybe there's a way that eventually we can come together and we can find a solution. Because right now we're not coming together at all. And there is no solution. There's just more hate and there's more divisiveness. But what if there's a way I could open my eyes and be like, or open my heart and be like, I think they're wrong. I think they don't have any control over my body, but I understand where they're coming from. I understand why they think that. Maybe I can love them as well. And if I can love people and if I can smile at them and I can just exude the energy of love, it doesn't mean I have to talk to them. It doesn't mean I have to interact all the time with them. It just means I can smile at them. I can wave at people. I can just keep my energy of love and good vibes up. And that kind of ripples out into the world. And that's how we can start making that change and bringing up the next generations to do more and more and more. And that's where my thinking is at right now. So it's not perfect. It's not complete. But that's where I'm leaning towards is we have to come up with a new way. And that's where the change is going to come from. We can't just keep trying the old things, keep fighting, keep following the divisiveness and expect a different result to come out of it. Those are my political thoughts for today. I am going to go see what my dad wanted, and I will leave you there with that. And yeah, have a wonderful day, and I should see you again tomorrow.